Great. Okay. All right. So I'm going to call the meeting of Community Development Authority to 2022. This is 5:45. So the first item is the roll call, Abby.
Floor,
Here.
Nelson,
Here.
Olson,
Here.
Weber,
Here.
and Brar is present. Furlong, Barron, and Oaks are absent.
Okay. So need motion to approve the minutes of June 27th, 2022.
This is Olson. I'll make that motion to approve the minutes from June 27th, 2022.
Okay, need a second.
This is Nelson. I'll second.
Okay, any questions or comments? It all looks good. I did look through it. So all those in favor of the motion, other than Carrie, for the approval of the minutes of the CDA for June 27, 2022, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Now we have a new member here. Carrie, go ahead and please introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. I'm Carrie Laurie.
Carrie, you want to tell us?
Yeah, I can just say hi. I'm really, really excited to serve on the CDA. I am a proud alumni of UW-Madison, and I've lived in Middleton since 2013. I live in the Meadows, so with my family, and really, really enjoy the community. Able to walk right downtown, so that's exciting. My day job, I work for a nonprofit trade association as an education services manager, so do a lot of professional development work there. So just really excited to serve. So thanks to Mayor Brower for appointing me. Look forward to meeting you all virtually and in person around town.
Welcome, Carrie. I just want to say, make sure you listen carefully, because now we have a Carrie, a Karen, a Karen, a Kathy, a Katie, a Chris.
And a Chris. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all the piece. Yeah. Crazy.
So listen carefully when
Isn't that wonderful? Okay, so the next item is the financial reports. Abby?
Yes, nothing too earth-shattering this month in the financial reports. We did receive a repayment of a down payment assistance loan in the amount of $15,000. That person was not moving out of their home. They just wanted to go ahead and pay back the loan early. So they've lived in the home, I think, for about 14 years and decided to repay the loan. So that was good. And then on the expenditure side, there was one recent expenditure that's not reflected yet in your statement, and that was something I submitted this week, which is the repayment to the Mustard Museum for the $2,000 sponsorship for National Mustard Day, which was last weekend. I was not able to attend because I was at the other big event happening, which was CrossFit Games. So maybe someone else was at National Mustard Day and can fill us in on how that went.
I was there.
Let's hear about it.
I didn't stay a long time. I did look for any, well, like, I don't know if you mentioned the CDA or anything, but I was looking for anything that mentioned it, and I didn't see anything. It's on the website was what it was. Wasn't, but it was nice. They had some games going on, and yeah, it was okay.
It was hot.
Mm-hmm.
I was there also, and I talked to a bunch of people I took pictures of, and they were all from out of town. So it was definitely drawing in folks from out of town.
That's good. That's good. So I was there in the afternoon. I liked the music. They had a really good music group. I don't know who they were, but they were singing good songs. So I was looking for ice cream. That's what I usually eat there. And well, they didn't have it. So, but that's okay. So, but they have a lot of other things.
You were hoping for the mustard flavored ice cream, Mayor?
Yes, yes, they have it every year, so.
They had it when we were there. It was a raspberry mustard flavored ice cream. They're
Ooh.
Oh, it
razzle-dazzle.
was?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
I
they
guess
moved the
maybe I
location
missed
down
it.
a little bit. Yeah.
They were out of
Okay,
it by
well,
the time we got there.
Maybe they ran out.
Yeah, they had to have.
Okay,
That could be.
yeah, I actually made 2 rounds and didn't see it, so I guess Matt could be right. So anyway, so they had a lot of other things. So it was not as crowded as in the past, but there were a lot of people. So anything else, maybe about the events or, any question from the um, from the CDA board? I don't see any raised hands. Well, if then all those in favor of the motion to approve the financial report, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Well, I don't see too many people voting, so aye. Carrie,
Aye.
you don't have to be shy. Okay. So I think it looks like unanimous. So it's so the motion passes. So we are we did have a motion, right? So
I didn't hear, I did not hear a motion. I didn't hear a motion and I didn't hear a second, but I did hear everyone vote.
Yeah, I heard the mayor say, so who wants to vote for the, we didn't have the motion in the second. So.
Okay, Kathy made the motion and I seconded.
No, I didn't. I didn't.
Oh, okay. Okay, all right. So do we want to do it again? So, okay, I make a motion to approve the financial reports. So I need a second.
I'll second it.
Okay, all right. So any questions or comments now about the financial reports? So I do see that downtown maintenance, we haven't spent anything yet. So, but we are asking, so there's a 15,000 still sitting there. So where do you expect that AB to be spent?
That's going to go to the Bruce Company contract that the city has for downtown landscaping maintenance. And I just think that they haven't billed us for this. I'm guessing that they're billing us for the season.
Okay.
That is spoken for.
Okay.
I wish I could say we would have left over in that account, but we're basically right at the budget with the contract we entered into with the Bruce Company.
Well,
Any other questions?
about the downtown planters, I just want to say I'm glad they finally took off. They looked kind of meager for a while there with just a couple petunias and stuff, but now that they're filling out and they look better. I was going to say that they were like pastures. So.
Yeah, that's thanks for bringing that up, Kathy. So Mark Wegner was trying to save a bit this year. So instead of doing like the typical thing where you have something spilling over the planters, something tall in the middle, and then the kind of ground cover, he just went with like mostly petunias of the same color, and they looked a little sad for a while, like Kathy said, but now they're very bright and they're full and they look really nice. But if you have any feedback on that and whether you want us to go back to the old way of doing things, I know people like the potato vines because they cover up the big battleship planters a little bit. So if you want us to go back to the old way, we can.
Why was he trying? I mean, we had the amount in the budget for this, and was that when we were bidding it out that he was trying to keep it to a lesser amount, or it's just Bruce's cost more? And
I think their costs went up this year, and so he was looking for ways to kind of cut the cost so we could stay within the budgeted amount.
Yeah,
because we don't really ask them we don't get a proposal from them until like March.
yeah. In my opinion, I just think petunias are they're not hardy at all. They'll be the first things to die in the fall, so they won't last very late into the fall. They're not one of my first choices for a plant, but that's just me. So.
Okay, so Kathy, you're done. Next one is Katie Nelson.
Thank
Katie?
you. I would love to see better scale in those planters. They're so big. I would love to see some kind of a miniature tree in the middle of each one. There's enough soil in those that they could winter over. These trees could be there and stay there, and I think would make a nice impact. For example, there's some miniature crab trees that would look really pretty. The matter is the budget. I don't know if the Bruce Company could give us a deal if we did a few each year. I just think that the scale of the flowers in those big pots always looks kind of weird.
Oh,
Just
I
like
agree with
never
that.
enough.
That's true.
Okay.
I never knew there was a plant like that. That'd be cool. It'd be very good.
Yeah, there's some crab trees that only get like 4 feet tall, and they could look pretty cool, I would guess.
Yeah, even Alberta spruce. I don't know.
Yeah,
whether
right.
or not-
Alberta spruce too. Something like that would be more structure and would look neat all year
Yeah.
round.
That'd be
talk
nice
to-
for those see, in between, like we wait for such a long
Oh,
period after the winter before
Yeah.
spring and stuff. That'd be nice. Yeah.
Okay, I'll talk to Mark about those pots.
Awesome.
I like that idea, Katie. Excellent. So, and I used to have Alberta spruce right at my own house as well. They are good and they last a long time. So, but
Yeah.
I didn't have any pot, it was in the ground. So I think maybe let's check with them that how well they will survive. But they
Yeah,
are beautiful and they are evergreen. They will stay there for summer, winter, and fall. So.
Right. And maybe there are a few good choices and we can get a mix of things that will be interesting all over town.
Excellent. So Kathy and Katie, so the reason why we changed from the earlier design was complaints from some folks that it looks so bad. They were showing the pictures how the Warnicki was doing, and our stuff really looked awful. So right now it looks great. I was there actually just this afternoon, and they also have matched colors. In this case, there's more than petunia. There were some snapdragons and other stuff. So, but we have to see how they will weather and in the fall. But I think it's an experiment. Let's
Yeah.
go
So my thought is,
designs.
it'll cost something, at the beginning to get these more permanent plants in there, but then you're not going to spend as much on annuals every year because you're not having to fill up the entire pot.
Right. It's an investment.
Correct.
Will be less than $50. Bruce may charge a lot more. I don't know, but great idea. Any other questions or comments? Where are the financial reports? So, okay, now we have a motion to approve, and it has been seconded. And all those in favor of the motion to approve the financial reports, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Well, Abby, motion passes unanimously, and remember the comments. I think that's really a good idea. So the next one is Strolling Middleton, featuring Stonehorse Green opening and Middleton Jazz Festival. Request for funds. Who is going to cover that one? Is it going to be Matt or Abby?
Well, I'll just get it started here. Just a quick update on Stonehorse Green. We have had a lot of progress at the property and the construction this week because we were held up waiting for a large timber delivery, and it arrived on Monday morning. And so if you've been out there at all this week, you've seen that the band shell now next to the village green is completely wrapped in stone.
Wow.
And the timber posts now, the columns that support the superstructure roof that will have the solar array on top, those are also in place, and they have started some of the landscaping work around the site, including getting the footings ready to accept the barn light sculpture, which is fully constructed. And I have a very cool picture of it, and everyone is going to be really excited, I think, about the scale of the sculpture. It's going to be very iconic, which is what we wanted in that corner, is an iconic sculpture, something that people would begin to identify with Middleton. And I think we've got it from the picture that I've seen. It looks amazing. So that's very, very exciting news. And then the other exciting thing, at our last meeting, I had shared with you all that we have hired our downtown marketing and event coordinator, Matt, and I'm going to turn it over now to Matt Stroh-Snyder, and he can share a little bit about our thoughts on the Stonehorse Green opening weekend.
All right, Matt Stroh-Snyder.
Yeah, you
Go
got
ahead.
it.
Say a few words about yourself, and then let's go for it.
Sure. Thanks, Abby. So yeah, I met some of you, and I'm sure I'll meet everyone. My name is Matt Stroh-Snyder, and I started in, I've just been going for about a couple months right now. And of course, the timing's perfect with the kid here. And so, hold on, I'll be right up. I'm not ready. All right. So, yeah, of course. So, we're pumped about this. I'm kind of a day-driven Johnny here, where I'm late on the scene. I'm coming up to people like, hey, have you guys heard about the Stonehorse Green? And everybody's like, we've been working on this for like 5 years. So that's been a little interesting, but so I get to show up right about when it's done. There's been a few little hiccups, but I was just there today, like she said, and everything, it's really happening pretty fast. So as someone, so I live in Madison, but I'm not a big city fancy outsider here. I've really liked my time in Middleton so far, and coming by has been really exciting, showing my friends like what the space is going to look like, talking to artists and distribution companies for movies and things has been really exciting, and working with tourism. And so the Stroll-In Fest, which I don't know how, again, you've probably, this is all old hat for you because it's been going on for a while, but I think this could really be something really important and really fun for the city. And so the timing is just perfect to open up this new space with like a big event. We've been working with Art Lit Lab. We're going to get a lot of great jazz musicians. There's going to be crazy aerialists, if you like to see kind of like, I don't want to say circus performances, but there's going to be definitely something, your eyes will catch on to something no matter where you are. There's going to be visual artists, there's going to be poets, there's going to be all sorts of stuff. And right now we're still working with them on securing a headliner. Booking back the date a little bit has been a little tricky, but overall I think it's worked out fine. It's weird to say headliner because people are immediately like, ooh, Taylor Swift, but it's not going to be anybody like that big. But it's hopefully going to be somebody in the jazz world, especially like the Midwest jazz scene, that's going to bring people in. We're going to be marketing to like the Chicago area and Iowa and other surrounding parts to try to get people to come in. And then it would just roll right into what we have for Fall Fun, which would be, I'm really excited for. So hopefully people would come to Stroll-In and they would think this venue is awesome. How long has this been here? I've never been to this city before. These surrounding shops are awesome right around here. Because when I was walking through downtown today, I was even thinking like, man, this is awesome that all of these places are kind of like singular. Whereas like, for instance, where I grew up, if you go back now, it's nothing like it. It's just every single franchise that you can think of, and it's depressing. But when you're in downtown Milton, you don't see all of that stuff. It's a bunch of like again, singular places. So hopefully people come in for stroll-in, they see that stuff. And then going into October, I was thinking we would start like a mix of the fall fun events, which would be a mix of films and music. And so for instance, October 13th, which it would be every Thursday night. And for the first one, October 13th, I thought we would show like Fantastic Mr. Fox. It's the Wes Anderson movie from the Roald Dahl book. And the colors are just super fall-y, and it would bring families, and it would bring people who don't have kids who just like that movie because it's awesome. And then the next week we'd be getting closer to Halloween, so we would have Labyrinth, which was fun. I think David Bowie and some Muppets. I said to Abby that would bring families, but it would also bring the demographic we really want, the goth kids. We want them to come to Stonewards Green. David Bowie in that King Jared suit. And then October 27th, we're getting closer to Halloween, so we would have Coco. You gotta have Coco. And then the 28th, which would not be a part of Fall Fun, so but we're gonna have some sort of Halloween event there. Maybe like a pumpkin carving contest, like a parade for costumes for kids. And then we're back to we got the 3rd and the 10th after that, which I wanted to go movies after Stroll-in because it's going to be a big music scene, a bunch of different things. And I also want to kind of show the versatility of the space, that we're going to have some movies. But then after that, the last 2 dates are a little bit more tentative. I'm not really sure right now. As of now, I have a list, kind of a short list of musicians that I've contacted that we would have. If not, if we want to keep the classic films rolling, you can always do Wizard of Oz and E.T. That brings people out. I also like kind of the idea of doing like a Buster Keaton or like a Charlie Chaplin movie along with live music. So I don't know if anybody knows anybody from like Art Club or like the high school band or anything to try to coordinate that. I'm still kind of kicking the can on that idea. But that's just basically from Stroll-in through now. I think it's a really exciting opportunity to kind of have some really exciting kind of cultural stuff going on. That will push Middleton even further in a direction that I'm sure everyone here would want to go in.
Well, Matt, I see a lot of happy faces here. The Andrea is excited, and as is Michelle. And any questions for Matt now? Now, who was, you said something about Taylor Swift? Yeah, Katie, go ahead.
No, it's Taylor Swift. She's from Rockford, Illinois. She's a big musician.
I love it. Okay, first of all, I am absolutely super jazzed about your energy. This is exactly what we need here. So I'm super excited to have you on board and can't wait to meet you in person. I really love the ideas that you're coming up with, and just keep it coming. I think this is awesome. Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Boy, it looks like we have a super awesome group here. Yes, we have well, anyway, we are all great here. So this is really, I like that. So any more questions for Matt, or any ideas? I think, laying the groundwork as you have done, Matt, that's really, really wonderful. And, we will, and I'm sure you're open to ideas from various people. Please send them notes and whatever you like. And there are things we can do with the money that we have and things we cannot, but we got to try to be the very best we can be. So,
yeah.
And Matt,
and everyone feel free to always send me any kind of recommendations you have if you want, if you know of somebody really talented or something, I'm an open door. I'm not an autocrat by any means.
Mayor, can I ask one more question of Matt?
Go ahead, Kate.
You mentioned a labyrinth for the Halloween time. Abby and I once had a discussion about a labyrinth, and she said, I said something about the Gilmore Girls, and she said, you know, I've always envisioned Stonehorse Green just like the Gilmore Girls little center in the middle of town. And they did a labyrinth with stacked up bales of straw. Is that what the vision is? Or what is this labyrinth?
Oh, I actually meant the film Labyrinth, the Jim Henson movie with
Okay,
David
awesome.
Bowie. But actually,
My-
since you said that, actually, Andrea and I just today were talking about possible ideas for the around Halloween. Obviously, it wouldn't work at Stonehorse Green because of we're going to be doing events there. But
Sure.
maybe at like that space next to City Hall, putting like I would love to just illegally in the middle of the night go cut down a bunch of corn from a farm and transport it over and turn it into a maze. I don't know about the. I'm going to get that done. I'll try to do it on the legal side of it. I don't think we're recording this meeting, so that no one heard.
Probably not.
But yeah, no, it would be Labyrinth. But I'm a sucker for tasteful, great fall decor. So I'm already pumped about this space around Halloween.
Excellent, thanks.
Well, Kathy's writing it all down, so she's going to.
Well, Matt, could you repeat the movies again? I wasn't writing them down when you meant something about Incredible Something Fox. I haven't heard of these, so I'm just.
No problem. Yeah, so the first one would be it's called Fantastic Mr. Fox. And
Okay. And what is that? What's the appropriate age group for that? Is that
I'm
children?
pretty sure it's PG. It does have a little bit. It has a little bit of cartoonish violence. Not too bad, but like there's like a gun. But it's very. My 5-year-old loves it, and
Okay.
I'm pretty judicial about what I show them.
Okay,
But it's
so that-
really, it's a
okay.
really sweet movie. It's not.
Okay.
PG.
Then what's the next one?
Labyrinth.
And what is the age appropriateness for that one?
Say similar.
PG?
Yeah, I
PG.
didn't put anything like. It wasn't
Okay.
like, oh, and then October 17th is Requiem for a Dream, and then Exorcism. It's nothing. I was very mindful the whole time that this would be smack dab downtown, and anyone could walk by and see the screen.
Right. Okay.
So I would have loved to have shown like Beetlejuice, but even that maybe is a little too scary for maybe some of the younger kids who would show up. Or like Pee-wee's Big Adventure. I showed that to my kids the other day, and large Marge made them really scared. So I have a good feel of what kids should watch and shouldn't watch. And I really think all of these are pretty okay. They're all
Mr. Fox, Labyrinth, and then those are the 2 weeks following and then comes.
right. And then Coco, which is rated G. It's a Pixar movie. It centers around the Day of the Dead.
Uh-huh.
And then the last two are the ones that aren't set in stone yet. But if they were to end up being movies, they would be like a Buster Keaton movie, which is just slapstick humor from like the 30s or 20s. And then there's
Party, I think.
yeah, and then honestly, the scariest movie might be Wizard of Oz if we show that.
Okay,
Or-
so
or
this
E.T.
instead of what we, bands and stuff, we're going to go after the Jazz Fest is family movies for Thursdays.
Yeah, it's going to be a mix of movies and music. So I wasn't planning on 5 straight movies. I probably think the last 2 probably will be music, but I don't know. I feel like Capitol Brewery has the music down pretty well, and we were just going to have Strollin', and this might be like a sweet little window to have stuff to bring like families out. Because I don't know, even some of the music, if you schedule it, that's a lot of like families aren't going to bring their picnics and stuff to it maybe. So there's definitely going to be plans for that, and like I said, it could be the last 2 weeks. But I thought some movies right off the bat would be kind of a nice flow and after Strollin' to Halloween, and then after that it might be.
It'll show them what can be done, that's for sure. We had a spreadsheet last year when we were trying to line up entertainment, and if you still have it, it has a whole list of different musicians and stuff.
I do have that. Abby gave that to me.
Yeah. Very good.
Looks great. So, well, Chris and Kathy's already, after that, Kathy. So, Chris, go ahead, please.
I'll lower my hand.
Great, thanks. Yeah, great work, Matt. Question about, and this is for the whole group, are we going to have what you just described, is that going to be out on a website that people can just reference of what's coming up?
Yeah, I'm actually going to get to work pretty soon on the, Abby's giving me everything I need for the Stonehorse Green website and the Stonehorse Green Facebook. And I was just kind of waiting for this. It needs general updates anyway, but I was waiting for a little bit more of a concrete green light to.
Sounds good. If you can give us an update on that, or if we can have an update on that for our next meeting, I'd love to start referring people to that website.
Absolutely.
And also, you mentioned about contacting you if you had if people had ideas for what they may want to do with, movies or other musical groups that could be. Is there, how should we handle that? Will you have an email that people will be able to easily find, say, on that website?
Yeah, absolutely. I wish my last name were like Jenkins or something that would be easier, but people, yeah, it'll be on there on the website. Plus, feel free to send it out to other people. It's mstrohsnyder@cityofmiddleton.us.
Good. As long as you have that somewhere plastered that is connected with, if you have ideas for Stonehorse Green events, please contact. I mean, that's all I was looking for, to make sure that that connection is real clear, that because we want to engage the community as much as possible. We're open to ideas and kind of feel for what because this is our first year, we need to feel out what the community wants.
Absolutely, totally. And that reminds me, because
we're not going to take all their ideas, but we need to hear them.
Yeah, no, I won't. It's all a formality. I won't take any of it. But Andrea and I were talking earlier about tying themes into movies or something with the surrounding retail and restaurants. So yeah, absolutely. This is a team effort here. Again, I'm not, the Tsar Nicholas or anything here. Like, this is something we can all work together on.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Yeah.
Looking forward to more updates and hearing more. Thank you.
And Matt, another thing we could do is we could actually, in the kiosk at the Stonehorse Green, once we get that part built out, where we have the calendar of events displayed, we could have your name at the bottom of the calendar too. And your email.
And also putting a suggestion box there if people want to, just a lot of people still use paper. So, well, some people still use paper. So.
Could we also have an email address like Stonehorse Green at City of Middleton or SHG or something like that to make it easier? Because you're right, Matt, your name is a difficult one.
That's
your name is German. Strohsnyder, but once you remember it, that's it. So then it stays with you. But I like Kathy's idea, just Stonehorse Green SHG. So
yeah,
Matt, how do you feel about legally changing your name to Matt Stonehorse?
It's too late.
That was my name. I changed it legally to Strohsnyder after
got it.
I thought you were Matt Middleton. What the heck?
Oh, man. Of all these aliases.
Okay, so what do we need from here? So I think item number 3 and 4, they're together, Abby?
Yes, and Carrie has her hand raised.
Oh, okay.
No.
So,
Sorry, I was late on the hand raise.
Go ahead, please.
I was just wondering, I'm new and I've been looking at the progress of Stonehorse Green. I drive by it or walk by it a lot. But what's the target opening date? I know it was originally end of August, but.
Yes, it was originally end of August. Now that we got our timber delivery, we're looking pretty close to the original date, but we have moved the opening weekend to Friday, October, is it 6th, Matt?
7th and 8th.
7th and 8th. Okay, so Friday, October 7th and Saturday, October 8th. Those opening weekend events that Matt mentioned, those will all happen that week. And the reason that we moved it is because we learned that the sod needs a couple weeks before a big group of people are trampling on it. We are getting questions, I know, from the downtown businesses that they want us to let them know when the fence is going to come down, in part because we might have a lot of activity at the site that would mean that they may need to have their staffing reflect the date that the fence comes down, and that is unknown still. The reason is we can't take the fence down if we're going to have any construction equipment there. So even if the site looks like it's completely done, if there's anything that requires, like, you know, any equipment on site, we need, for safety, we have to have the fence up. We also know that there may be a delay between finishing construction and getting our certificate of occupancy from the building inspection department for the restrooms. So we're trying to hone in on that date as best we can, but we just don't know quite yet.
Thank you.
Any other questions either for Matt or Abby or anyone? Any questions? Okay, well, so Abby, so you need a motion to approve item number 3 and 4 then?
Can I ask a question
Yeah, go ahead.
that way? Abby and Matt, this question, I kind of asked Matt this at tourism too. They're getting a big headliner for the Jazz Fest out of Chicago, is my understanding. And when we first started having Strolling Jazz, the idea was that local musicians getting paid a livable wage and fair wage. Is this going to is this changing how Strolling Jazz is going to operate going forward, where they'd have a headliner from out of town and fill in with?
No, they just want, well, I don't think that their intent is to change it, although I have seen where you change it for 1 year, people really like it, and then it decides to stay that way going forward. But their plan was only to do the headliner for this event because they wanted to go big because it's the opening weekend.
Right. I do like the idea of local musicians being involved and brought into, you know, highlighted, but I understand for the opening that we want to have something a little more.
And they'll still have the local groups too. It's just we are going to have the one bigger headliner as well.
Okay, thank you.
Is the plan though that those smaller groups, local groups, would be at locations throughout downtown, not all in Stonehurst Green?
That has been traditionally been how the event has been held. However, there are some restrictions based on there seems to be less desire from the business community to host musicians inside this year. So I don't know if they're going, Matt may know better than I do because he's probably talked with Art and Lit Lab more recently, but they had noted that it may all be at the Stonehurst Green this year if they aren't able to get, you know, a handful of businesses that want to host a musician like they have in the past.
Would they have to be inside though? Could they not be outside?
They've done a couple outside. They've had the BMO Harris Bank Pavilion was outdoors. And then where else have they done outdoors? I'm forgetting. Oh, Via Dolce had an outdoor 1 year.
And Capitol could have some. That's downtown.
Capitol has not ever wanted to participate. They kind of do their own thing. They haven't been super interested in participating.
Okay.
Yeah, they do have their own music programs, which are set. So, okay, so you need a motion to approve $2,000 for the Strolling Middleton featuring Stonehurst Green opening and Middleton Jazz Festival. Request for $2,000. Maybe is that what you want?
That's correct.
Okay, need a motion to approve $2,000.
This is Katie. I will move that we approve.
Need a second? Okay, I second it. So any further questions or comments? Any further questions or comments? I don't see any raised hands. All those in favor of the motion to approve $2,000 for the Middleton Jazz Festival, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion passes.
And Mayor,
Mhm.
before we go off this topic, I did want to say super thanks to the Middleton Tourism Commission, and thanks to Matt, who wrote a $5,000 grant application also to sponsor the opening weekend and took it through the approval process at Tourism Commission, and that was approved by the commission. And thanks to Kathy, who's serving on the commission. So
We didn't make it real easy for Matt, though. We did give him a little bit of a.
that's good. Don't go easy on him.
No, he's.
Well, thank you, Kathy. Thank you, tourism, and thank you, Matt. Okay, on to item number 4, fall fund request for $1,000. Abby, Matt, who is going to?
Well, Matt kind of already went over that one as well. And this is the amount that was included in that Excel spreadsheet that I prepared, where at the beginning of the year, we asked about how to reallocate funding. And this was the 1,000 we had put in for fall fund, and now we're just requesting approval for that.
Okay.
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion to grant $1,000 for fall fun events at Stonehorse Green.
Need a second?
This is Katie, I'll second.
Okay, any questions or comments? Otherwise, all those in favor of the motion to approve the request for fall fund for $1,000, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion passes. We are on to item number 5, 2023 budget recommendation. Abby.
Yes, so the city's capital and operating budget process is well underway. And we are due to submit capital and operating budget requests to the finance department for the initial review on a week from today, actually. No, a week from tomorrow. August 19th is our deadline. And so I just included this really simple spreadsheet in your packet that shows the budgeted amounts that you had in your categories in 2020, 2021, and 2022. And then I have roughed up a proposal for 2023, and I want to go over my proposal, but obviously any of these can be changed at your discretion. This is just kind of where my thought was going, and I'm probably forgetting things too, so feel free to jump in. The first item is downtown snow removal, and I'm recommending that we keep that item the same as we've had in years past, because we have really reduce the amount of snow removal from the terraces that we've been doing, which of course is the most costly snow removal that we do because it requires 3 separate pieces of equipment. And before I keep going, I noticed that Kathy had her hand raised.
Oh, no, go ahead. No, I'll listen. I have
okay. Okay, so I think we can probably keep that flat. That was one item where we have in the past asked for the common council to absorb that into the city's operating budget. But due to the state levy cap and the constraints that we're under with increasing operating expenditures, the council hasn't shown any interest in removing that from the CDA's budget and taking it on as a general operating expense. There will be an opportunity at the end of the life of TIF District 3 when the city will see when the TIF closes and all of that increment that is in the TIF will be returned to the general tax base. That would be a really natural time for the city to take some of those general city maintenance expenses and put it over to their budget. So the second item was senior center building maintenance. And as you all know, or most of you know, the CDA owns the senior center building. We do get some lease revenue from the private tenant space and from the Hubbard Activity Center. This has been in the budget for a long time for general maintenance of the senior center, but we don't usually spend any funds out of it, or very limited funds. So I'm recommending that we reduce that for next year. We did away with downtown marketing assistants last year. That's because we instead hired the part-time marketing position. And so we didn't feel that the CDA needed to also be putting funds into private events at that point, because we have Matt now who can help to organize and carry out events for the downtown. CDA event sponsorship, I'm recommending keeping that flat. The banners and holiday lights, I would suggest that the CDA may want to increase that, because we're going to light the green now instead of lighting the tree in front of City Hall. So I would anticipate that we're going to need We're gonna have more ongoing expenses related to that. The LTE for downtown maintenance line, I'm showing a pretty significant increase in that, but there's also increasing revenue coming in. So the way we've handled this in the past has been kind of hit or miss, but what we've gone to, instead of hiring the part-time LTE position to maintain the landscaping in downtown, we are instead contracting that out, and we're partnering with the tourism department and the library. And so they are paying revenue into the CDA, but then the Bruce Company contracted amount all comes out of the CDA. So that's where that increase is coming in part from. The other part is that we would like to double the number of hanging baskets that we have in the downtown. So right now there are, I think, 36, and we wanted to go up to 72, if I'm remembering the number correctly. And then I also added in some extra funds in case we wanted to improve the planters boxes. In the downtown landscape and maintenance line, you'll see that I'm proposing a very substantial increase, and this is to clean the bathrooms at the Stonehorse Green. Our public lands department works with Jana King to maintain the restrooms at the parks, and in consulting with them, they suggested that we should have somebody come out and clean those every day. So that's 365 days a year. We have somebody that's cleaning those. They would come right after the locking mechanism on the door closes, and that happens at 10 p.m. So they would show up at the end of the night and clean it up, and then the next morning the restrooms would be clean and fresh. The cost for that is $55 per day. So if you calculate that out, it's about $19,000 or $20,000 just for cleaning the restrooms. Miscellaneous expenses, I'm not proposing a change, and there's minimal change in the part-time employee line, and this is just to reflect our human resources department's recommendations. And then on the revenue side, I listed Edward Jones rent as unknown. Just for purposes of tallying the total revenue, I plugged in $12,000, and that's just based on about what they're proposing for the increase, but that decision has not yet been made. And then I'm also proposing a large increase in the amount of TIF District 3 funding that's coming into the CDA so that the CDA can have a balanced budget. So I think I kind of went over that quickly, but I'm happy to get into the details of all of this.
Go ahead, Kathy.
I do have a couple questions, but I'll start out with the one. With Matt on board, should we have some budget for him to be able to spend as needed? I know, like when you do Facebook posts or boosts or whatever, there's other things that he may have expenses for. Where would that come out of if the budget is presented as it is right now?
That's a very good question. We might be okay for a year or almost a year because we have that $15,000 grant from the Madison Community Foundation,
right,
which Matt is using for organizing events, planning events, and also marketing. But you're right that at some point, like later next year, like in the last 3 months of next year, we will run out of funding for marketing.
Okay, so that was just one question. And I can take my turn here and have somebody else, they have other questions, and I can circle back with the rest of mine. I don't want to.
Okay, Katie, go ahead.
Thank you. Mine's a little question on the downtown maintenance or the hanging baskets you were talking about. The ones in front of Capitol Brewery look so nice, and they have that kind of automatic watering system. Is that something that you have budgeted for with the extra baskets?
Yeah, so I'm glad you brought that up, Katie, because that is actually in here as well, but it's hidden and I should have mentioned it. The cistern, so there's an underground cistern that collects the water from the Terrace Avenue Pavilion roof, and it funnels it into this cistern that's underground. And for the most part, it's been working well, but when the water dips below a certain level, the pump has to be reprimed, which we have actually been paying Olson Toon Landscaping to come out and regularly check or to reprime the pump when that needs to be done. We discovered that the reason that the pump is having to be primed more often is because there's a leak in the bottom of the cistern. And so we looked into a variety of options to line the cistern, and it actually turns out that our engineering technician, Tom Weber, has come up with a really cost-effective solution. And it's basically just dropping a liner into the interior of the cistern, and then it has some way that it molds into the shape of the cistern. I don't know the specifics of it, but it's less than $1,000 to repair that, so that we could save in the ongoing operational expense of paying Olson Tune to come out and reprime the pump as often. Once we get that liner in, we think that we can double the number of hanging baskets, because we already have like the lines that go up, we just have them plugged off because we were having to prime the pump so often. So we think we can double the hanging baskets using that automatic drip irrigation system, rather than having to pay somebody to come and supplement with regular watering.
So Abby, you're thinking of increasing the baskets all around the Capitol Brewery or elsewhere too?
I think if we didn't want to pay somebody to come with a pole like watering system, it would have to be around Capitol Brewery, because the only street that's outfitted with that drip system is Terrace Avenue between Parmenter Street and High Point Road. We could put the baskets elsewhere because we have the hooks, but if we are going to put them around in other areas, we would need somebody to come and water them with, you know, one of those pole things. So that would cost
so what do you think, Kathy and Katie and Chris and others? So just having increasing the baskets right there, should they, is that what we want to do? Or I don't know, it will be only the people who go to the Capitol Brewery. Yeah, I want to hear your thoughts. So well,
I think
anyway,
it's a nice area, and I would be in favor of it, because it is it's a place that I know does get frequented a lot on nights that there's music, and they've really, and Capitol Brewery has kind of stepped up their game and has booked a lot of events there throughout the summer. So yeah, if we could, I mean, I think it's a good investment for that reason, I think.
I would like to see baskets all more downtown too. I know the Terrace looks nice. I don't know, and the baskets look nice on Terrace, but I'm not certain that adding another 36 on Terrace is going to give a big wow factor. We already see how nice they look, and that's nice. But if they were downtown, people would notice them more. It would be a more of a standout. So
I also think it would be hard to, I mean, they would have to be watered every single day unless it rains. If we had baskets elsewhere that didn't have that drip system, petunias especially get leggy and cruddy looking if they're not really, you know, really pampered all the time. So I don't know if it's like, I agree with both Chris and Kathy. Like Chris, they're fabulous. It is a great impact down there. I'm not sure, do we need to double them? I don't know that it's worth putting them elsewhere until and unless we have a drip system for them. Sorry.
So what would it take to have something close to the library, city hall, senior center, this part of the city?
Library, city hall, senior center, I don't know if they have the hooks installed on the streetlights, but I could check and get back to you. I do know that there are hooks on the streetlights, like in the Cayuga Court, Middleton Center, Stonehorse Green area. So we could add the baskets there, but we would need somebody to go and manually water them.
So since you talked about Stonehorse Green, would this be something which we may want there? And where you could even have a watering system too? Could that be done, or is that too late?
Well, we're not really touching much of the street lighting around there, so I think it would probably be too late, especially like trying to run the tubing and the water and where we would collect the water from and putting in an underground cistern, I think it probably would be too late to do that for the green. I mean, I'm not saying we can't go around and water them. That is, you know, we can go back to that method. We used it for a long time when we had hanging baskets in downtown.
Okay. Well, something to think about. Okay, so any other questions or comments?
I do.
Go
Two
ahead.
questions. Is there a place where another cistern could be put in? I'm thinking like at the depot, that roof has a pitch to it. Could we collect water off of that? It's similar to the size of the Terrace Avenue Pavilion. I'm just, or any other building that we could add a cistern, and I don't know how much it would cost to add a cistern. The other thing I wanted to ask you about is Light the Green, where you added $5,000, and that's for next year. Do we have enough to do the Light the Green this year?
Well, we haven't really figured out our exact costs for this year, but we have thought that we might be able to use that seed funding grant. We also have ETC willing to help us, but we kind of need to get our plans sorted out like sooner rather than later on what we're going to be lighting up there.
Okay. Because I think the most important, expensive part would be the lights themselves. And we have to have them this year since the tree is gone already. And I don't know what the $5,000 next year would be, if that would help us as much as we need it this year.
I think the most expensive part will probably be the labor to install them all.
Well, we're taking the lights down every year.
Well, at the City Hall tree, we did not, but they wore out. And so like when they would go to plug them in for the year, they would end up having to restring a few together. So I don't know. I mean, if we get really high quality ones that we could leave up year round, then that could be a possibility.
That's all the unknowns. So, and $55 a day to clean the bathroom seems like a lot all through the winter. I just don't know how do the other parks, they get those cleaned every single day of the year, even in the winter time?
They do, and they also have their own staff that supplements the cleaning. Well, in the winter, a lot of the park restrooms are closed because they blow out the lines at the end of the year and then they just shut them off for the winter. But ours, because our space is heated, we thought we would be leaving it open rather than blowing out the lines. But that could be a possibility to save some costs, is we would just shut it off in the winter.
I just can't imagine that every day they would be that dirty that, I mean, I think a person's residential bathroom would get more use probably than some of these bathrooms in the daytime. So
I don't know. It only takes one person.
Oh, okay.
Just saying.
Right.
Wow.
Okay.
Good point, Chris.
And everyone else then has to look at it. So yeah. But hopefully that there aren't, but we are going to be having it open every day. I guess you kind of answered that question, Abby. So I guess then we do need to provision cleaning.
Yeah, we do have a mechanism, which I talked with our other staff about, where we can remotely lock the doors. So if somebody calls in and says there's a big mess in number 2, we can remotely lock that one and it could be shut off and locked for the whole rest of the night. So, because we are not going to have staff that's going out there and cleaning it during the day.
Exactly. So,
I think, it's a good start and we will learn and make changes. So it's not set in stone. So I think good start. So, okay, other questions or comments? Well, otherwise need a motion to approve. I know that TIF funding increasing from 70 to 120 looks big, but maybe we'll see. So need a motion to approve or make any changes or whatever you want.
This is Katie. I will move to approve this budget plan.
Need a second.
I'll second it.
Okay. Now let the discussion begin. Any questions or comments? Otherwise, all those in favor of approving the CDA budget for 2023, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion passes unanimously. All right. We are on to, but Abby, you have all those comments. So as a part of it. We are on to item number next. Big item here now. This is the utility box call for artist selection process, CDA to select and order top 10 submissions. How do you want to go about it, Abby? So,
Okay, so I think first of all, I'm happy to answer any questions on the RFP or the intent behind this project, because I know that the CDA wasn't initially involved. The reason the CDA is becoming involved now is because we had a few of our arts committee members decide to submit, which was allowed in the RFP. And then we lost some arts committee members, and it was getting really difficult for us to get a quorum of arts committee members that could actually participate in the selection. Our arts committee chair, Michelle Phillips, is here on the call, and she's willing to help out and provide guidance as needed. But I emailed out the CDA.
You're breaking up. Abby, on the back connection.
Abby, I think you're fine.
It's the
You
mayor.
sounded okay to me.
Okay, Mayor, I think you might be breaking up. So the CDA and the Arts Committee sent their ideas for how we should kind of score the proposals via email just to me. And I put those into a spreadsheet, and then I realized I maybe should have been a little bit more clear of an idea of how we were gonna score them. And so I put together two different ranking methods. The first one is just asking everybody to rank their top 10, and then I assigned a point value, because I was thinking, like, if everyone selected this one as number one, then that should be like a much higher score than if everybody selected one as number 10. So that was method one, which resulted in 11 finalists at a natural breaking point, trying to get to that 10 number. And then method two was just giving 1 point to everyone that got a score, and that resulted in 14 finalists. So I don't know if you prefer to just look at method one, method two, or if you would like to look at all 18 finalists that resulted from both options. And I did create a PDF with those 18.
I'm gonna make a comment here. So when I was looking at these today, there's a lot of crossover. There's a lot of artwork that's on both lists. The thing that I think about the second method is that it is more of a mix. You have like the top 5 are all the same, but it provides more, I think, of a mix. Although method one would be the most straightforward and easiest, I think, because we have 10 boxes that we're covering and 11 finalists in the first method. So this project is likely going to be one of two. We are hoping to wrap more boxes, and so bearing that in mind, we will have another call for artists at some point. We haven't budgeted it in yet, but that is in our planning. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
That's excellent, Michelle. So, and I was also thinking that Senior Center has 9 boards. They're just wanting something to happen there, and if we could somehow, do something to those. Michelle, you love art, so, and that will really make a difference for the downtown. I know, and one time we had the projector projecting some of the stuff there, but that went away somewhere. So I think those Senior Center, well, we don't want to mix them, but I think let's keep that in mind. So
well, those are on our radar, Gurdeep, and I think but this is a project that we have been working on for quite a while, the utility boxes, and so we do want to see this come to fruition. But I do want you to know that the Arts Committee does have the panels at the Senior Center on our radar, and so I think this project came about in part to cover up the ugly utility boxes and, you know, create space and or create art in a usual ordinary space. And I'm sure you all have seen these in Madison and other places. So this is something that we used our capital budget for this year. And so this was separate from our other budget. And so
Yeah.
you know, but again, we've been stalled out for a couple months now, right, Abby, wouldn't you say? And so this is something that we really are wanting to get off of our plate.
Excellent. So the top 5 or top 6, they're same in whether you go by
There's
one or
8 of them are on both lists.
yeah.
8 of them.
So let's that's probably right. I went through, so there were only
There's
2.
8.
So okay. So Michelle, you are an chair of the artist committee, and you're an artist. So how do you want to go about it?
Well, I'd like to get everyone's opinion. You know, do you want, since we have 8 that are on both lists, do you want to take those 8 and then choose 2 more? I don't know what your feeling is on this, but clearly if we have 8 that are on both lists, then everybody who ranked these has strong feelings about those specific works of art. What is everyone?
Okay. So let's take those 8 and then pick 2 more. I think, does everybody agree with that?
Agreeable?
I think
Okay.
that's a good idea. It makes sense to me.
Okay. All right. So
So then how do we choose the other 2? Do we take the next highest on each list, or how do we want to go about choosing the final 2?
That would be 8 and 50. 8 would be
8 and
the
50. Actually,
8 would
50. Yeah, but it would be 8 and 50.
8 is the ballerina and 50 is the kind of oil droplet kind of graphic kind of picture.
yeah, the 50 looks like as if it is, you know, plant section, or, you know, could be section of, yeah, it looks like some sort of a section of cells or something. So anyway, so, well, so how do we want to go about it? How do we want to pick 2?
Abby, can you put 8 and 50 up by any chance?
Yes, I can. Before I do that, can you, I'm only counting 7 that are on both lists, but I think I'm missing 1. So does anybody have those written?
14, 15, 18, 22, 38, 40, 51, 56.
Oh, I was missing 51. Thank you. Okay, so then you wanted to pull up number 8 and number 50. you said?
50.
Okay. Let's see here. Okay.
Okay, so number 8 is the dancer, and 50 is, those are the sections.
So this is number 8. And, oops, you probably can't see that whole thing, can you? Sorry, this is number 8. And you said 50. This is 50. And just so you all know, the ones that are images of a piece rather than a graphic design in and of itself. So like there were some painters, for example, that took a photograph of their piece. Those can be a higher resolution and higher quality image than what is displayed. I just made sure that they met the minimum standards that we had included in the RFP before we passed them on and made them eligible. So just to clarify that.
Okay, please, let's hear from you. Please raise your hand so if you want to offer some comments. So, but are we deciding between 8 and 50, or we are taking both? I certainly, this is very colorful, number 50 here, and I don't really have any problem with this. So, Carrie?
Thoughts, anybody?
I was just gonna say at number 8, I like the dancer image. I just wonder how that will look on a utility box, just like how it's wrapped, because it is a tall image. I just worry about, I know we'd see the proofs or like they'd be laid out, but I wonder if that might be a tough one to get
Well, we do
right.
have different size boxes.
Yeah.
And so some of them are more vertical than horizontal, some are more squarish, some are more rectangular. So I would guess that when we actually choose these for the individual boxes, we would suit them to, however they.
Well, and it's possible, like with an image like this where there's a clear top and bottom, that this would be replicated. So you could put on one side of the box, you could have the dancer, you could have it on all four sides, and then the top, maybe you would do something that would just be like this pattern for the top. I'm not really sure how they would lay it out. That's a good question, Carrie.
It sounds problematic, but okay, let's hear from Kathy. So Kathy.
With this one, I was just thinking it's a very dark looking picture, and I don't know how it would if it would stand out or how it would translate onto a utility box, if it would be some of the other ones were more colorful, more vibrant. They give you a much different feeling. So that's my only comment. Thank you.
Yeah, I think I have the same feeling. So let's pick.
Shall we go ahead? We agree on 50, correct?
Yeah, we agree on 50. We just
Okay,
need.
so shall we go to the next one after 8 that's on the list?
I
Okay.
didn't like that one. It looked like the planter boxes at Tiedemann's. I didn't care for it.
Which one?
5.
5.
Which could
Well,
you show?
prickly caterpillars and stuff. It's very.
Oh, yeah.
I liked
Actually,
personally.
Oops, went the wrong way. Sorry, I'm looking for 5. Kathy is the one that.
Yeah, that's just my
that's one
thought.
of the ones that I actually picked because I thought it was unique.
Yeah.
I think see, it's showing all the microbial population. This is actually awesome. That's how life really began. It got the amoeba, and yeah, I actually like this one. This is awesome. Kathy, it describes the beginning of the whole thing here. This is really very creative.
That's fine. I was only giving my opinion of it. It's not, and everything that's, I'm okay with if we choose that one, it's fine. It's just, I was giving my opinion.
No,
It looked to me, it looked like the kids kind of painting. But that's, what it is. I would prefer something like, I like the sailboats that had kind of a tie to Middleton, to the lake, to the, that meant something more, but it could go any way you want, so.
Well, what else do we have, Abby? What's next on the list?
Okay, well, this PDF includes all of the finalists from both of the ranking methods. So if you just quickly want to go through here, 38, this one's already been selected. This was the top choice.
Okay.
So we'll skip that. Oops, actually I need to go up a little. I'm sorry, in my PDF.
Can you go back to the list so that we can see the list again of the numbered list?
Yes, here, hold on, stop share. Here you go, here's the list.
Okay, so we looked at 8, we looked at 5. Shall we move on and look at 26 or 44? One of the others that we didn't choose, 25.
Let's look at 44. So let's see what that is.
Okay.
That's the purple and yellow with the woman with a flag.
Oh, okay.
Some of these are just, they're so beautiful. That was it, Abby, you went right that one.
Well, that would be, Kathy would think that will be a little bit dark too, so. Okay,
What would I think? What would I think?
You think it will be a little bit dark, or you think that will be okay? Do you like this one?
I didn't say anything about it. I have no opinion about it.
Okay, all right.
Is that a QR code?
Yes.
Yes, I did actually follow it. It does go to like a written like background. So I thought that was kind of cool.
I'd like to know the background of what this is. Is it educational?
This looks like a library there, so you can see all the collections. So that's not a bad thing. So
Yeah, I have to refresh myself on what it like exactly went to, because I just was like, I wonder if this QR code works, and it did. But you have to like blow up the image and then hold your phone up to it. And
Oh, okay.
yeah, so I had to like make it bigger. But so I liked the QR code, but I think that like just again translating it that it actually would work on a wrap would be.
So
Okay.
it goes to a site that talks about City of Middleton proclamation honoring and celebrating 100 years of women's suffrage in the United States. So it was the resolution that the City of Middleton approved on August 18th of 2020, recognizing and celebrating 100 years of women's suffrage in the United States.
Well, that's
Okay.
cool.
So that would be excellent, I think. So why wouldn't, well, okay, that makes sense, doesn't it? So let's hear from others too. I think I like that. So
Let's take a look at 25. I think that was maybe one of the next ones on the secondary list.
yeah, that's a butterfly wing. So it's,
Going the wrong way, I'm sorry.
Oh, the monarch wing.
yeah,
That was after the sailboat, so 20 and then 25.
yeah,
I love
that's it.
one.
Okay, so there's 25.
And
There
then
were
you
two like that. And did one of them make the top 8?
I think number 1 was like that, the first one we opened up, so.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the other one was 20.
Yeah,
this one?
Mhm.
yeah.
Now that's very
I-
nice.
All right, so we've got the suffragettes, we've got the sailboats, we've got the amoeba. So what direction
Well-
are you guys feeling tonight?
I think the sailboats are separate, either of those two, or amoeba. I'm okay with any of those. So
Did the monarch wing, did either of the monarch wings make the final?
it was among the top, or it was in method 2 somewhere. So
It hasn't been selected. It's not in the top 8 that we picked, so that's, so this would be your chance to get monarchs.
I love the monarchs. Could
I like the
we,
monarch, yeah.
Yeah, so that would be the only one that, because we haven't picked a monarch. 25 would be the only one.
otherwise, fruits and vegetables 51 is awesome too. So
51 we already did pick.
Or is
I think this
okay.
would be very impactful as a wrap on a box.
I think so, yeah. Very, very colorful and
Mhm.
Okay, so do we have consensus on the monarch wing then?
Yeah, it's fine. Let's go with it. So we got 10 now.
what did Chris think? Is he here yet?
Chris,
Yeah,
what do you
I'm good
think?
I'm good with the monarch.
Chris is good.
Yep.
All right. Do we need a motion?
And Carrie, did you like the monarch too?
Yeah, I like that. It was one of my, I had chosen it in the beginning too, so I like.
Oh, there you go. I guess that's.
Yeah, so no, I like that one too.
Okay, so we got the monarch.
Okay, so we are set on 10 now. So do you need anything more, Abby, or?
I have
don't
them, and they're listed in this order: 38, 14, 18, 56, 22, 15, 40, 51, 50, and 25. And the reason the order is important is if we have not enough money to do all of them, the last one that would get removed would be the monarch. But we could always approach the artist about doing that for a future phase project too, if we have to scale it back to 9 boxes.
Okay.
We
Yeah,
had
that's
to, and I would put this one in front of the oil droplets or whatever we're calling it, and that,
You would put this one in front
I know,
of number
50.
50.
anybody else feel that way? Or am I just, I can go either way, but I just felt that people like the monarchs a lot.
I think let's keep the order which we have now. So this, yeah, this. let's keep-
Hopefully we'll just keep doing them and,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
so we'll get them all.
Okay,
Hopefully,
keep
yes.
it as it is. So do you need a vote now, or what do you want? You already
Yes, I
have a
think it
vote.
would be a good idea to make a motion to accept the top 10 ranking as I just stated it.
Okay, I make that motion, so need a second.
I'll second. This is Katie.
Okay, any further questions or comments? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? The motion passes. We need to go to the closed session every now.
I'm going to leave, but I just want to thank you all for helping us on the utility box project.
Michelle.
The Arts Committee is very grateful for your help.
Oh, thank you, Michelle, and thank you for chairing that awesome committee. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Have a good night.
Good night, Michelle.
Thank you.
So Mayor, if
Okay.
you want to do item 7, I can just kind of give a brief overview and then we can take an action to convene into closed session.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
So just really quickly, I mentioned previously the CDA owns the senior center building and we have a lease space, which right now we're leasing to Edward Jones. They've been a long-term tenant for the CDA and they have requested to enter into a 5-year lease. And the last lease we had was 5-year with an annual inflator. The CDA negotiated that 5 years ago and now they're coming up on their renewal. This would be for the years of 2023 through 2028. And I included in your packet just the comparables that I could easily find online using LoopNet for commercial rental space. This is a first floor space that we are leasing and it's 660 square feet. And the current rate is equivalent to $17.80 per square foot per year. It's an office space and it's fully built out. They have come in with a proposal for a starting rate of $17.80 per square foot per year plus 1% annual. That's their initial offer. I looked at comparables. I found that the Mustard Museum on the 2nd floor, they have space that's available that's fully built out. It's about 2 times the size and it's $24 per square foot per year. The other comparables that I could find I don't think are quite as comparable because they're not right downtown. The second one is on University Avenue at University and Maple. It's first floor space and it's $15 per square foot per year. And then the third is Esser Place on Deming Way. And that's a newer space. It's 2nd floor and it's quite a bit larger. And that's $17 per square foot per year. With our space, it includes all of the utilities. I'm sorry. It includes the restroom, which is not counted as part of the lease space because the restroom is a shared space that we pay for, we maintain, we clean, and we provide the toiletries and supplies. And it is not included as part of the 660 square feet. It also is a tax exempt property and there is no common area maintenance or CAM charge associated with this space. So there are kind of some differentiating factors that I just wanted to flag for you, and we can further discuss that as well in closed session if you wish.
Okay, any questions for IB right now on this part? Any questions? Okay, otherwise IB, so we go in closed session now then?
Yeah, so if you want to take action to go into closed session.
Okay, need a motion to go into closed session.
This is Olson. I'll make a motion that we convene into closed session to discuss the lease.
Okay, I second it. All those in favor of going into closed session say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? So could you make sure that people who are waiting out there to let them in?
There's nobody in the waiting room.
Okay, all right. So do I have a motion now?
I can make the motion.
We are on to item number 9. So, okay, go ahead, Kathy.
I'll make the motion that we ask for $24 a square foot We would do the interior painting as requested. Any other changes would be on the Edward Jones Company to do that. And we would institute a 3% per year escalator. And then we would like to have the escape clause added to the lease.
Okay, need a second.
This is
I'll
Carrie.
second
I'll
it.
second. Oh,
Okay, second by Carrie. How about that? Okay, any further questions or comments or discussion? Otherwise, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? So the motion passes unanimously. Anybody wants to tell any stories or anything else?
No.
Otherwise, need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor of the motion to adjourn say aye.
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 Okay, Carrie, welcome, and thank you, everyone. So, time for dinner. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks,
Thanks,
everybody.
For
everybody.
having me.